They take 300 mules and head from New Mexico, Santa Fe, and end up out here in Los Angeles. But they had to go all the way to Green River, if you know where that is, and cross the Colorado and then diagonal back to LA. So it took them 3 months. Well, when they got there, they would do their deal, and they'd buy, sell, and trade for horses and then steal them. And they'd come right through here with 2,000 head of horses. Now between here and LA, which is at the bottom of the hill out of Victorville, Cajon Pass it's called, between there and here, 500 of them would die along the Mojave. And by the time they got to Vegas, all those horses that made it, they knew could make it all the way back. So they took off, because most of the time they were stolen horses, and they'd take off at a trot and head across this country. And this is a friendly game, incidentally. But I want to tell you the other reason I'm here is because we're helping the locals with this volunteer fire department. You get to have this beautiful valley and a place for snowbirds to come to because of the people that live here. And that boot hanging there is where you put your money. And you're donating to the outfit across the road. You see all them outfits? Well, every one of them is a machine which knows, you know, it's going to break down. So anything you can do to help put money in that boot, we'd appreciate it. And all the stuff behind you there is for sale. And then there's actual artisans farther down the pike there. So, yeah, there's going to be a loop. It's a loop, isn't it? Yeah, there's film inside.
Inside of where?
Inside of the community center after a bit. So just feel free to go. Hello. Feel free to go there. The horse I'm sitting on is the kind of horse that they stole and bought and traded for in California. The Andalusian is Andalusian and Lusitano. It's called an Iberian horse because the Iberian Peninsula was the Iberian Peninsula originally. So the Moors crossed the channel, which is 12 miles, and they brought their little Arab barb horses, and they cut the heads off the Spaniards because they couldn't turn around 40 acres, and they were riding big draft type horses. So 700 years later, they crossed those Moorish desert horses with the local horses and ended up at the Andalusia, which is one of the states in Spain. Okay. This is what came out of California in the early 1800s, and they were prized in the East. They were a big deal. So later on, the Spanish Trail, I said, went to Green River and down, and later on it went down the Gila. The Gila's in Arizona, so they made a straight line then. And what happened over the years is that the people that were bringing the horses back would meet at the Colorado River, and people would come down from Salt Lake and they would trade and buy horses from them and head north, because the Mormons were keeping horses around to trade and sell to the pioneers that were on their way out. So for me, the interesting thing was that some of them horses that came from the mission area in Southern California made the whole circle and came all the way back out for later on. Unbelievable. So I don't know. I'm sure the horse was thinking, what the hell? I went all that way and here I am right back where I was standing. But anyway, this horse that I'm sitting on, one of the reasons they wanted them is because they were very, very, very good horses. They were very well trained. The California trained horse is a discipline. It's a type of training. It has nothing to do with horse shows. It has nothing to do with rodeos. It's a ranch horse. These horses were used to rope grizzly bears out on the flats in California. Why? Because the grizzly bears came to the carcasses. The carcasses came because the only thing the Californians had back then was cattle, and there was no people to eat them. So they would kill 100, 200 head, and they had these slaves, what we now call Indians. They'd use them to skin them, and the hides were worth $2 each, the equal to. So that was the business in California. So the sons of the Dons would go out and kill these cattle, and then they'd skin them and take the tallow and they'd store it, and then they'd put it on ships and it would head south down the coast. So when they got to Chile and Peru, they would trade the tallow because all the miners wanted them for candles. Then they took the hides to Boston and they turned them into leather goods. So that's what the market was for what I'm telling you about. Well, this horse would have had to been handy enough to rope a grizzly bear with 4 of your best friends. It had to be your best friends because you were real high chance of dying. And they would rope a grizzly bear, and oh, by the way, the boss told them bring it back alive. Okay, so now they got a grizzly on the end of 5 ropes, and you can't kill it. It's got to come back alive. So they start trailing it in, and what you need to know is that my hand, when I'm riding this horse, doesn't move. When they were in the heat of battle roping, they didn't have time to do all this stuff they do in Austin. So as they brought it back, it's what they call a soiree after the roundup. They would put the bear in a pit with a bull, tie a front foot to the other one, and they'd fight it out and see who won. They'd bet on it. So like Cajuns, they bet on everything. Horse races, anything. And then they ate both of them. So that's a real fun story to tell your kids, but I'm just telling you, for a horse to be able to rope a bear and live through it and come back alive is amazing. The other way they brought him out was they'd take him down to a flat, and the old viejo, the old man, would have what they called the cabistro, which were oxen. And he'd leave at daylight, and they were already out there hunting a bear, and he'd head the direction they told him, and he'd get out there, and they'd get a bunch of limbs and make a drag, and they'd lay that bear down on that sled, tie it down, then he'd take the 2 oxen, point them towards home, and they'd go on home. That's the other way of getting them back to the ranch if it was too far. Because you can imagine taking a grizzly 30 miles, you'd have killed him. That's why these horses had to be so handy. So as I speak and I say, excuse me, that's what my hand contacts the rein. I turn my right toe out and my horse yields. I turn my left toe out and my horse yields. This is all done off my upper calf. Now, as I exhale, and when I walk forward, I'll exhale and ask him to back up. If you exhale, it means no fight, no flight. That's what horses are, fight or flight. So if you cannot breathe well and cannot control the muscles along your spine, you will never ever make a horse this nice, period. You see I have spurs on. The reason I wear spurs is because you need them for insurance on a ranch. If you need to get out of the way of a 2,500-pound bull, you really need to move. Okay, they're not used by me. Very seldom they're used, because if you're getting in trouble with a bull, that means you're in the wrong place. Okay, so what I'm getting at is what I'll just explain to you is that my horse, if I use the spur, I'm going to wake him up. Then I'll say, I need you to walk backwards, and I'll say, I really need you to walk backwards. Now let's go. Exhale, bam. That's what you got to have. You don't have time for a whole bunch of two-handed riding like Austin. You have to be able to have your horse move off your skeleton. That's what this works. So just so you'll understand why I do what I do, in the cowboy world, which I've been doing my entire life, because as a small child in my brain I was already a cowboy. I didn't want to be a fireman, I didn't want to be anything. The way, where's he at? You and I, my partner there, the cowboy in the hat, we were talking about it this morning. The way that you win the big prize on a ranch horse is when the boss says, Pat, stay on your horse. There's no ribbons, there's no trophies, there's no buckles, there's nothing. You win when they want you to stay on your horse. They'll tell the rest of the peasants, go tie your horse up and get a stick. That's nothing to brag about. So your incentive as a cowboy is to have the best horse you can have so that you'll get to stay on. And he needs to be able to separate his front end from his back end. Because we work cattle, that's what we do. Well, he knows how, and what you need to know about a ranch horse, because of the genetics, I need to stay out of his way when I start working cattle. He's that good. He just says, okay, Pat, get out of my way. I can pick a cow out of 300, and by the time I get to it, he already knows which one I want. So now I sit very quiet with my hand quiet, and he goes like this and brings it out of the herd. That's what this is all about. That's why these horses were so valuable in California and scattered all over the East. Okay, that's what that was. Please remember, I babble all day, but this is a friendly game. So if you have any questions, just throw your hand in the air. Bathroom's right over there. Okay. The ranching business right now, cattle are worth the highest price in the history of ranchers. Okay. Well, go to the store. You're going to buy chicken. It's ridiculous. One of the reasons it is because you need to know, you see my sign, I'm a real deal for the people being in charge of the BLM, the Forest Service, because we couldn't have all this if it wasn't for us. We're keeping it from turning into lithium. So remember that, you guys. Don't be afraid to say something. 3 laws: shoot, shovel, and shut up. That's all you got to remember. So anyway, the Mexican border is closed now. That's where we used to import cattle from. There's a certain fly that lays an egg that turns into a maggot, basically, and it's been eradicated here in the 70s, and it's back. But it's not in the U.S., so we're making sure it doesn't cross the border. And a coyote can bring it, so it's a real touchy situation.
What's it called?
Screwworm. So there's, right now, when I would stand at the border to buy cattle years ago, 1,000 head would cross the border that morning and be done at 9 a.m. They all had to go through a dipping vat. And what I'm getting at, nothing is crossed. Now there's probably between Arizona and El Paso, there's probably 20 places to cross cattle. Nothing's crossed. So there's no less than 50, 60, 70,000 head of steers standing in Mexico waiting to cross. So if they ever get past this wreck with them idiots in Washington, because what's going to happen, Mother Nature is going to kill the fly, because when the temperature drops, you notice the flies do too. So I'm no genius, but I'm just telling you, you don't need a grant for that.
Hey Pat, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So is part of the reason that our cattle numbers are down, we're down to about 28 million, I think, which is the lowest it's been, I believe, since the 70s.
Yeah.
Due to that screwworm, you think, or do you
No.
think it's due to
No.
grazing and regulation?
No, this has been coming on since COVID. When COVID hit, they started selling heifers and quit keeping as many replacements. So now they ship the factory. Huh?
And we've also been in a drought.
Yeah, and from my house to Tonopah to Midland, Texas is drought. So they had to sell their heifers. The ranch we were on in Nevada was 1 million acres, 3,000 cows, 300 acres per cow. Okay, now it only runs 1,000 cows on 1 million acres. There's one of the reasons why the cattle aren't there, because they won't let you graze it, which it's drought out. You wouldn't get nothing but disappointment anyway. So
is it also being controlled a little bit by by JBS and
yes,
Cargill and some
exactly. He's talking about the people that put it in packages and then tell you it's grass-fed, which is a lie. Yes, it's the packers. The packers have the monopoly. All right, we can go on for days, but the point is, cowboys work by the day on a ranch. I do not own cattle. It's a famous story in Wyoming of a man that owned a ranch. He willed it to his son. They put him in jail for child abuse. So that'll tell you all you need to know about it. Bueno? That's what I heard, Deb. Well, we've never heard a lot of things, have we? Well, guess what? We, the people, are getting to be here today under this beautiful sun, and we're standing right next to BLM land. Right over there is forest land. Right over there is forest land. So we need to keep it. And I'm not going to get on my stump, but anyway, the bit in this horse's mouth, I want to show you.
How do you feel about having local packing?
Local packing houses are getting to be an item because people are selling beef to their friends and neighbors. All right, it's a big deal. Well, the big packers, they know that there's so many people in the world, they don't have to worry about it. Just the town of LA, that drunken village on the coast, there's nobody there that has a friend that's going to bring them beef. So they're going to buy beef. What's really going to happen is they're not going to want beef no more because they can't afford it. And just so you'll know, that white stuff, is froth. All right, it's from the horse rolling the cricket in its mouth, this round brass thing. If you ever heard of the Tarahumaras, they're the people that run all the way to town and don't even take a breath. The women, like 30 miles, they don't just take off. They're in the Grand Canyon of Mexico. So this froth you see on there is what we want in a horse. It's called a wet mouth. That comes from the Moors, Northern Africa. All them horses they crossed the channel with had rollers or crickets in their bits. And they went 30, 40, 50 miles and they had to have a wet mouth or they'd die of dehydration right there in the desert. So they figured this thing and it's like a pebble in your mouth. Get it? That's what that's about. Okay.
Is that steel or is it brass?
The cricket is a brass, copper alloy. All right, when we can hear the cricket non-stop, it means the horse is worried. When we don't hear it at all, that means he's worried because he's pushing his tongue against a bit because of somebody's pitiful riding. When you hear it intermittently, it means you're on the payroll. The cricket will talk to you. And what I'd like you to watch, this part right here. My dear, would you come here a second? Just hold that.
Right.
What's your name?
Lily.
All right, now don't get twitchy. This is not world hunger. Just stay there. Turn this way, hon. Now watch. This lays on the tongue. 1 out of 1,000 maybe do the kind of training I do. As you pull on the rein, watch that. The bit leaves the tongue. As it leaves the tongue, it's just laying on it. As it leaves the tongue, the horse goes, and they rock to the hindquarter and say, what do you need? That's how come my horse can be handy and my hand doesn't move. Bueno, you with me? You speak Spanish?
I'm learning.
Bueno, ok, ahora hablamos puro español porque ella está aprendiendo. Bueno, aprendido. That's what you're doing. Say okay.
Okay.
Okay. The riendas. Now, if you're with me on this, I'm going to go for it because there's a reason for everything. The chains take the froth. Okay, that's one thing they do. As I pick up the rein, the chain moves. Horses are sensitive, people are not. The horse feels the chain moving. That's why if you'll see me sitting on my horse and I'm not working, the rein is laying on the neck. Most people inside an arena are afraid to let go of the rein. It's round, you'll be right back. Jesus. So that's one of the signals, a pre-signal we call it. So by the time it connects, you can see the spoon leaving the bit. That's the signal. That's all you need for a horse that's broke, a bridle horse. And please remember, nobody that I know of makes bridle horses except maybe 5 guys I can name. And one of the reasons that you don't know them is because the good hands in Nevada, for example, they don't come to town. They don't babble like me. They don't want to tell you. They don't need to. So there's a lot of really good hands better than me out there in the brush. You need to know that. I'm just sharing with you how it really works. This is metal. Besides being a vulgar display of wealth, it's a hinge. Because we got metal to metal, and it makes it easier instead of dragging on the leather when I pick up the bit. Get it? It's faster. So when I let go, it goes back quicker. That's how you keep a horse light. Bueno? Now, what did I say? Somebody bring it all back. Just kidding. Okay, that's the big picture on why they took the horses from California all the way to Santa Fe, New Mexico. They came right through here. If any of you came over the pass out of Tecopa down here to Vegas, that was one of the routes they went. Now, you picture 2,000 head of horses from the Armagosa or the Mojave, which went underground, incidentally. They never knew. Heading out across to Las Vegas, which means the meadows. It doesn't mean the money, it means Vegas. And they had a pipe this big around when the Mormons showed up, and they put it in the ground. It was shooting this high in the air from artesian wells. You can't hardly find that well anymore. It's in the Botanical Gardens downtown. Who cares? All right.
Come to Perot.
Monday?
Come to Perot.
Okay, I will.
You got the water shooting out of the ground.
There you go. All right. Gabby, would you take this, please?
That's why.
Now, if you could. Now, folks, This horse is trained. I've been riding for almost an hour out there in the dirt because he's used to a 30-mile circle, not a problem. That's genetics. That's what we want out of these horses. He's never been schooled in an arena. It's all done out in the hills. He can work cattle in the corral because of the rein I put on him. He can load trucks trotting sideways because I don't need somebody not helping me. And what I'm getting at is you ship cattle on a big semi. Well, usually it's 2 to 3 guys in Texas, but anyway. There's 2 guys around here or 1 guy, which would be me, and he trots sideways and he will jump forward and back if a cow falls into sin. I'm sure you know what I mean. Okay. So everything I need to do on a ranch horse, you're looking at it. And the kicker is, which is fun for me, he's got 3 more years of training. A bridle horse isn't done until he's 10. So now he's just put himself in collection. All the levels of collection you need are taken care of outside. The odds of him bridling up in a flat arena, mindlessly wandering, which is like lunging in case you have horses, it doesn't work. If you get outside and he's got to go through the dips, he's going to learn to carry himself. So after a while, he'll trot down through a draw and come out the other side and his head never moves. He's hanging it like a pendulum. That's the point. That's why it takes so many years to do this. Bueno. This is El Rey, the king, in his own mind. Excuse me. Just Rey to us, but El Rey to you. When they packed originally on the old Spanish trail, the way they packed was called aparejo. An aparejo was 2 bags full of horsehair or straw, and they literally were tied together and they hung on the sides, and then you put your load on that, wrapped in canvas or soft hides, because they didn't have sawbuck pack saddles. They balanced the load. It took 2 men to put a pack on, 1 on each side. Well, General Crook changed the entire packing world. He was the general that had the military, okay, in the West. He changed the whole thing. Now this was made not 100 years ago. It was made probably 6 months ago. I have a great respect for Mexico. This is the hide of a cow. And this is called a box, imagine that. And that's what they use to pack with. It's not wooden, it's all hide.
Do they put a frame in it though when they're...
They have a wooden frame that basically sticks, and then they knock the frame out when it's dry. I say the word dry, it's not dry, it's called green hide, it's still pliable. But this is what I would pack in. And the trivia part is, for geniuses, cowboys ain't too sharp, I know that I put the coffee pot in Mr. Brown bag, not Mr. White bag, okay?
Well.
So when you're on the side of a unless you forget the coffee pot. Okay, I forgot it, give me a break. I had to boil coffee this morning the old-fashioned way. That was the aparejo. Hold on. Deb, you got the hobbles anywhere? You need to know about hobbles. Here, let me get the... This is what we use for packing, to put a hitch on. And remember, folks, there's any question, just ask me. Walk right around the truck and give me those cotton hobbles, will you? Now this mule moves when I go to pack him, so he gets hobbled. He still moves. Okay, you don't train a mule, you outlast him. He's 7. By the time he's old enough to vote, I think he'll stand. Don't dwell on it, don't go to group, just keep moving, that's all you do. My horse hobbles. All my animals hobble. You hold that, please. Oh, partner.
Hey, honey, you want me to hold fuel or somebody can hold this camera and then I...
Whatever you want to do. I didn't hear what you said, but I'm all for it. Now, a typical pack weighs 70 pounds each box. So that's 140. Now you put what we call a top pack, which is a bedroll or a tent or jackets. That's called duffel. So when you're all done, it equals out to about 200 pounds. The packs that they put on in Santa Fe, because there was weavers in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There was no weavers on the missions in California. So they knew how to make blankets and ponchos and chalecos and all the things that you needed. And they had more sheep. So where they would bring out, I think you're good right there. They would bring out 300 head of mules packed with the goods that they could trade. And a lot of the goods were knives, pans, things that made it easier for the people out here. Because you got to know, there was no industry in California. It was simply hides and tallow. The only farming they did was for their own food on the ranch. Sign of a misguided childhood. Don't ever reach and help me, whatever you do. Don't reach, ever. What'll happen is you'll drive that mule over the top of me. Then I'll make that sound that we all hate to make. Go sit down. Go sit down. I've seen 100 guys try to help somebody with a colt and they walk up to it on the wrong side and the guy ends up laying on the ground. I broke several bones. Now what I've got is I've just got it tight and I've just got a horse knot, a half hitch on this side. Now remember, in the old days it took 2 guys to do this. This is one of the most practical, intelligent packs hitches I'm about to show you. Now Gabby is family. She's learning what I know. I don't know what we're gonna do the rest of the day, but she signed on. She said she wanted to learn what I know.
So far, she keeps coming back. We're worried about her.
I just pulled the slip knot out of the other side. That's how you can pack by yourself, get it? Now here's the diamond part. I crossed the ropes, as you can see. And you got to know the reason packers try to be really good at what they do is because when you're on the side of a mountain and you slip a pack, you're in really big trouble. And they used to, like in the old Spanish trail days, they ran the mules loose. Well, because of the geniuses during hunting season up north, they changed the laws in the forest that you had to tie a pack string together because they lost too many animals because the people only did it once a year.
Like lost them as in over a cliff or lost them like just kind of.
They went back where they came from. So when I pack, I'm real adamant about making sure that everything is right. Now, for those of you that are vertically challenged, you have to take my word for it. There's a diamond up on top of this pack. It's a diamond shape.
Made by the rope.
And there's probably 15 or 20 hitches, but the diamond and the box hitch are the 2 favorites in case that comes up at a cocktail party. But to me, making a bridle horse, which is Chinaco, and packing well is an art form. It's a real compliment if you know how to pack well. So I don't know if any of you can see it. Somebody vouch for me. Doc, you can see up there, right? That's a diamond. Now we have a friend in Montana that packs the Bob Marshall, which is like the Hell's Canyon. It's the quest of all cowboys. If you can pack the Bob Marshall, you're something. I've never personally been there. This is the diamond hitch. You're gonna have to get a stool, my dear. The diamond's up here.
Yeah, I know that.
Now this is, I have an extra long lash rope on purpose because a lot of times, we were talking earlier, you pack a horse that's not used to being packed. You make damn sure your pack's on. This part you don't see in a real packer because he's got broke animals. It's like my shoeing. There's a term, folks, and it's called cowboy shoeing.
Who's cowboy packing?
You know, you nail shoes on them, then you lead them through mud so nobody can see what you did. Okay, that's cowboy shoeing. This is cowboy packing. And all it does is give me more insurance to keep my load where it's supposed to be. Now, something interesting about teams and pack animals. If you don't keep steady breathing from your core, the animal that you're working with says something is wrong. So I'll tell you the end of the story on making a really good horse or pack animal. Breathing and the muscles going up and down your spine. And that lady right there is responsible for me to keep doing what I do. Thank you, Karen. She can make chicken salad out of chicken manure is the nicest way I know to say it. And that'd be me.
Who wants to see the photo?
Just walk through the group. Now, this guy's a genuine real packer, the one she's showing you the pictures of. And just for the sake of knowing, women make just as good at packers as men.
I think Dude's wife is one of them.
Yeah, the requirement to be a good packer is you need to be tall. That's the first thing they ask you. I tried to get a guy a job and they say, was he tall? And I go, yeah. I said, come on, bring him.
How long do the packs stay on animals?
A pack will stay on an animal probably 10 hours average if you're going back up in the high country. If you're packing salt, your load's gone within 2 hours usually. You try to locate your truck and your salt to where you're close to where you're going to be, you don't have to go a long ways. But I'm telling you, the average time can be 10 hours for a pack animal.
And they can tolerate.
No, the amount of hours that you can go.
How many pounds?
200 pounds on this mule.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm pus gutted, so I weigh, between my saddle and me, it's 200 pounds.
Wow.
Now I know that my knot, when I'm done, is on this side. You always put the knot in the front. That's what it looks like. This is called the pigtail. So if you're standing on the side of a mountain, you don't put the knot in the back. I could elaborate, but it's not. It's a mule, get it? He can see me here. You don't come up to a pack mule and go, "Whoa, Brady!" Bam. They scratch their ear with that foot. Think about it. Hello? It's like getting hit with a hay hook. So anybody wants to walk around to the front, whatever, and look at this hitch, that's the diamond hitch. This is not for the weak-hearted, this business. The whole cowboy deal. Now, is there any questions? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I just got a comment. So, if I didn't know anything about you, and I looked at your hat, and your wife's hat, and wherever she went,
Gabby?
and you buckle your spur straps on the inside. Only that I know of, the Carroll Horsemanship. People that know that style of horsemanship do that.
That's true.
I've never seen that in Texas.
You never will. Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is a foreign country. It's 4 states. Am I right? The Panhandle.
Yeah.
Marfa. The Gulf. East Texas, haired over and full of ticks. West Texas, cattle die of disappointment. That's 4 states. And since you mentioned it,
Only Great Basin. I've seen that in the Great Basin. It's the only place I've ever
well, if you'll notice, there I have no
Oh,
buckles.
you don't have, but they do.
Yeah, I've been hung up 3 times in my career, and this will break if things go to hell.
Yeah.
That's why I make these myself. Sharp knife, you can make.
Sit down and put your foot up.
It's way easier.
It's way easier.
Yeah, especially, you know, you go like that, you can do your thing. But yeah, and I've in the spur counter. Nowadays, everybody's boots look like you drive a truck.
And they want those great big.
Any other questions, you guys? How are you doing today? Now, folks, don't forget,
I buckle mine on the inside.
this town only makes it because of what you're going to put in this boot. And there's several boots here, so please put money in it so I can, hey, Billy, so I can hand it back to these folks, okay?
I haven't ever met Billy.
Now, I'm going to stand right here until all questions are answered.
Better half. My
Hey, Billy.
better half.
Billy, how you doing? It's good to see you.
But I'm Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia. Sorry.
So there you go, folks. How about you? Tell me one thing you